Huawei planned covertly to sell smartphones in the U.S. Now, this is coming from a website. I don't know this website, Washington Free Beacon, but it's one of these political websites. Somebody's probably going to say, hey, man, Did anyone else write about it, by the way? I'm curious now that I just noticed where this is coming from. Is this one of these propaganda type sites? Maybe, very well. I don't know. It's written by Bill Gertz, senior editor. 27 years at the Washington Times before hopping on this website right here. Anyway, it's a political website. Take it for what it's worth. But they make the claim that the Chinese telecom giant, Huawei, sought to circumvent U.S. government ban. So obviously, we talked about it many times at this point. Huawei, not the best relationship with the U.S., no access really to the American market for the time being. This particular story, this particular report, suggests that they were looking at creative ways to get around some of those bans. They are the world's number 2 smartphone maker, and apparently, according to U.S. intelligence agencies, they had plans last month to filter Huawei smartphones through Mexico and then via a rebranding process to get them onto U.S. soil and into U.S. customers' hands. So the way this would go down, Will, you get like 100,000 units, get them into Mexico, put a nice little badge on there. You got a brand name for this new company here? What are you calling it?
I was thinking they would replace it with like an iPhone or something.
Oh, they just slap iPhone on there?
Just straight up iPhone.
What about H phone? Something covert like that. Yeah. I mean, who knows what the name would have been? But of course, the concept here is you just have some other name. You spoof. You got some brand that you can slap onto it, which isn't banned, and then internally, it's a Huawei device, so you don't have to like completely engineer something. This happens actually. There's lots of brands. They slap their name on it, and then this happens on Amazon. Like you see some power bank or some pair of headphones. It's like 15 different companies. They have the same product but with a different brand on it. You would assume this would be something they could do relatively easily. And then I guess on the U.S. side, they had to be cracking these things open and be like, hey, I know what that is.
Yeah.
And then they'd have to ban it from that standpoint.
It's not an iPhone.
Going forward.
It's an H phone. Now,
interestingly enough, Huawei already has this other brand, Honor, but you have to assume that they're also included in this ban as it stands today. So, according to the officials, the Shenzhen, China-based company planned to ship a large number of its smartphones to Mexico, where the smartphones would be relabeled and then shipped into the United States. As non-Huawei devices, there would be no prohibition on selling them in the United States. They could only be identified if you crack them open. So, again, I'm not sure about the validity of this particular claim here. I wouldn't put it past them. I'm not accusing them of doing this, but I wouldn't put it past them. If it's just a name that's being banned, specifically, slap another name on there. No? Is it that easy? Probably not. I have to assume they'd be shut down fairly quickly. But it speaks to the increasingly complicated landscape in which it's all these covert ops now, man. You can't. Once you start talking espionage, my goodness, what a rabbit hole you travel down as far as how things are going to happen and operate and what we're going to do going forward here.
Yeah, guerrilla tactics.
It's crazy tactics going forward. So anyhow, it's just a report. It's apparently, sources close to the matter as usual. U.S. intelligence agencies, according to the Washington Free Beacon. It doesn't sound like these devices actually made it onto Mexican soil. But imagine that, Will, the hottest new phones made in Mexico. Would you be wondering the legitimacy?
Yeah.
They're like, look, it's the H phone P50 Ultimate. You see how that goes?
Yeah.
It's got 8 lenses, hot new company out of Mexico. What's wrong with you? That's the flagship territory. And competitive pricing. And you're like, damn. And 5G. You're like, damn.
get in the studio.
Yeah. This is going to go well with my Apple card right here. Anyway, we never got to that point, but it doesn't stop. Covert ops, trade wars. You know how it goes.